The wind at Heartland never learned to be quiet. It carries old promises, half-healed wounds, and the whisper of a name that still shakes the ranch. Tonight, that name rides back into Lyndy's world like a storm, and Amy knows storms can bring rain, but they also split the sky. Before the gate creaks and before the first hello, life at the ranch has a steady beat. Amy wakes before the sun, sliding into boots that still remember another set walking beside them. She feeds the horses, checks the fences, and keeps the stories of yesterday tucked behind a calm smile. Lyndy follows her like a small shadow, bright-eyed, fast on her feet, and full of questions she mostly keeps inside. On good days, they laugh at the kitchen table, bending light around empty chairs. On hard days, they still laugh, but it sounds thinner, as if the room is holding its breath. Everyone in the family does their part. Tim shows up with big plans and bigger advice. Jack moves slow but sure, the way a steady hand moves down a nervous horse's neck. They do not hide the past. They just learn how to set it down while chores get done. It's how the ranch survives, and how people here do too. Still, there are moments when a song on the radio, or a leather jacket hanging in a closet, turns the air heavy. Amy feels it first, then she sees it land on Lyndy's face like a cloud. A child has a way of waiting without knowing she's waiting. She folds drawings into the shape of wishes. She presses her ear to the barn door and tells the horses secrets, the same way her mom once did. Sometimes late at night, Amy stands by the window and watches moonlight wash the yard. In that silver light, she can almost see footsteps that are not there. She tells herself she has made peace with what was lost. She has learned to fix what can be fixed and hold what cannot. But peace is not a straight road. It bends with every memory. At school, when other kids talk about weekend rides with their dads, Lyndy smiles and changes the subject. She's kind like her mother, brave like her father, and growing like a wildflower in a field that has known fire. The ranch holds her up. So does Amy. Together they have built a rhythm: early mornings, long rides, inside jokes, a small hand tucked into a larger one. And yet, somewhere under all of that, a question keeps beating. What if one day the door opens and the missing piece walks back in? What happens to a heart that worked so hard to heal when it meets the reason it broke? Amy doesn't say these words out loud. She doesn't have to. The horses hear what people do not. They lift their heads when a truck turns down the road. They stamp and snort when the air changes. Animals know the truth first. Change is coming. The sky over Heartland is clear, but the wind is rising. Lyndy ties her hair with a blue ribbon and laughs at something Granddad says. Amy turns the kettle off before it whistles. In this house, they have learned that joy and pain are neighbors. And tonight, without warning, both are walking up the same path. The day begins like any other, but the air feels different, charged, heavy, as if the ranch itself knows something is about to shift. Horses stir in their stalls, restless for no reason. The sky is clear, yet a hush seems to ride the breeze. Lyndy is the first to sense it. Children always are. She's drawing in the dust with a stick when she hears the sound of tires crunching against gravel. She lifts her head, squints toward the road, and for a moment she doesn't believe her own eyes. A truck she remembers only from faded photos and whispered stories is rolling slowly toward the gate. Her heart pounds with a rhythm she didn't know she had been waiting for. She drops the stick, dust smearing her palms, and runs. Amy is inside, stacking dishes, when she hears the screen door slam. She calls Lyndy's name, but her daughter doesn't answer. By the time Amy steps onto the porch, Lyndy is already halfway down the path, hair flying, her small frame breaking into a sprint that belongs more to instinct than thought. And there, just beyond the fence, a figure steps out of the truck. For a heartbeat, time folds in on itself. Amy's chest tightens, because she knows that shape. She has known it in dreams, in the silence of long nights, and in the hollow of mornings when no one else was there. But this is not Amy's moment. It belongs to Lyndy. The child stops in her tracks, breathless, as if unsure whether to believe what she sees. He kneels, arms opening, eyes glassy with years that cannot be erased. For Lyndy, the world narrows to this point. The father she has built from stories is suddenly here in flesh and blood. She runs again, faster this time, and collides with him, her arms locking around his neck. The sound that escapes her is part sob, part laughter, pure, unshaped joy. Amy stands frozen, watching from the porch. Every muscle in her body tells her to move, but she doesn't. She can only watch as Ty lifts their daughter, spinning her lightly, as if afraid to let go. His voice is low, cracked, but full of a warmth Lyndy has never heard before. He whispers, words Amy cannot catch, but she can see the way her daughter clings tighter, as if this embrace can fill the years that stretched empty without him. The ranch holds its breath. Even the horses grow quiet, ears pricked, watching. Jack and Tim, standing in the distance, exchange looks they do not voice. They know this moment is both a gift and a wound. For Amy, it feels like watching sunlight pierce through glass, beautiful, but sharp enough to cut. Her heart beats in two directions at once. Pride that Lyndy is finally tasting the love she deserves, and a grief so deep it feels like standing barefoot on broken stone. She remembers their own embraces, their own promises, their own storms weathered side by side. And she knows this once a heart has been shattered, even joy can sting. Ty holds Lyndy as if he's trying to memorize her. She touches his face, studying him, the way children do when they want to anchor a memory. Her laughter echoes through the yard, filling spaces that had been quiet for too long. Amy presses a hand against the doorframe, steadying herself. She wants to step forward, to claim her place in this moment, but something inside holds her back. Because this is not her reunion, it is Lyndy's, and yet, as much as she tries to stand apart, Amy feels every crack inside her widen. Love, loss, and longing collide, and in that collision she understands. This reunion will heal Lyndy, but it may break her all over again. The porch boards creak beneath Amy's boots, though she hasn't moved. She feels nailed to the spot, as if the ranch itself is holding her still, forcing her to witness every second of the scene before her. Her eyes refuse to close, even when her heart begs them to, because this is her daughter's happiness, unfiltered, unbroken, rare, and to look away would feel like stealing something sacred. Yet each giggle that escapes Lyndy's lips slices deeper into Amy's chest. Joy has never hurt so much. The reunion unfolds only a few yards away, but Amy feels as though she's watching through glass. Ty crouches low, his forehead touching Lyndy's as she babbles questions all at once. Where were you? Did you miss me? Can you stay? Her voice trembles with excitement, and Ty answers with patience, his eyes locked on hers, soaking her in like a man who has been starving. For Lyndy, the world has just doubled in size. For Amy, it has folded in half, pressing her between the weight of the past and the uncertainty of the future. Memories surge without invitation. She remembers Ty's steady hands guiding hers when they broke a wild horse together. She remembers the laughter echoing through long rides, the warmth of his palm against hers, the sound of him saying her name like a promise. But she also remembers the fights, the distance, the nights alone staring at the barn light burning like an unkept vow. All of it, love and pain tangled together, returns now with brutal force. She swallows hard, trying to steady her breathing. Part of her wants to step forward, to smile for Lyndy's sake, to embrace the man who once filled her world with both comfort and chaos. Another part wants to turn, to flee inside, to barricade herself against a rush of old feelings that claw at her. Neither choice feels right. Instead, she stands caught between movement and paralysis, between pride and sorrow, between then and now. Jack steps quietly onto the porch beside her. His presence is steady, grounding, but he doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. His silence says what she cannot. I know this hurts. Tim lingers in the yard, arms crossed, a storm brewing behind his eyes, but even he stays still, because everyone understands this is Amy's battle to fight alone. Amy's gaze never leaves Lyndy. Her daughter glows brighter than Amy has ever seen. This is the light of a child finally given something she never knew she was missing. And that is the knife twist, because Amy has tried so hard to be enough, to fill both roles, to carry every burden with a smile. She has been mother and father, guide and protector, and she thought, perhaps, she had succeeded. But seeing Lyndy now, radiant in her father's arms, Amy realizes no amount of love can replace what was absent. Her throat tightens, but she forces the tears back. She will not let Lyndy see her pain. She will not tarnish this moment with her own heartbreak. Instead, she folds her arms, steadying herself with the same quiet strength that has carried her this far. Inside, though, her heart is unraveling. Because this reunion is not just about Lyndy and Ty. It is also about Amy, about the pieces of herself she buried to keep going, the wounds she thought had scarred over, now ripped raw data as the sun dips lower, painting the yard in gold. Amy knows one truth with painful clarity: love does not vanish. It does not fade like an old photograph. It lingers. The sun is sinking now, dragging long shadows across the ranch, but the weight in Amy's chest only grows heavier. She knows what everyone else is pretending not to say. This reunion is not an ending. It's a beginning. A spark that will ignite a fire neither she nor Ty can control. Lyndy is clinging to her father's arm, already weaving him into the fabric of her world. And Amy sees it clear as day. This is no passing visit. This is the return of a presence that will rewrite every rhythm of their lives. Inside the house, supper grows cold on the table. Plates set with quiet hope now wait for voices that will not gather tonight. Amy doesn't call them in. She doesn't have the strength. Instead, she stays rooted in place, watching as her daughter glows with the kind of joy Amy alone could never give. And though she wants to feel relief, what rises in her instead is fear. Fear of what happens next. Because when Ty stays, everything changes. Bedtime stories once told in Amy's voice may now come from him. The long rides she shared alone with Lyndy will no longer belong only to them. Even the silences at night, the ones Amy had made peace with, will grow heavy with the possibility of conversation that never comes. She knows Lyndy will ask questions about the past, about love, about why two people who once shared everything now stand apart. Amy can already hear the tremble in her daughter's voice. If you still care about him, Mom, why aren't we together? The ranch itself will shift. Jack will watch Ty with a mixture of pride and caution. Tim, always ready for battle, will not let the men return without questions or judgment. And Amy? She will carry the burden of balance, keeping peace, keeping hope alive for Lyndy, while holding her own wounds together with string and grit. Every decision she makes from this moment will ripple through the family like a stone cast into a quiet pond. And what of her own heart? That is the secret no one will ask about, but everyone will wonder. Can Amy truly move forward while the past stands on her doorstep? Can she open her life to new love while the man who once held her soul is suddenly back in her world, touching the hand of their daughter with such tenderness? To let go is hard. To hold on is harder. And now, she may be forced to do both at once. Lyndy will not understand the weight. To her, it will be simple. Her father has come home. She will dream of family dinners, of shared laughter, of rides across the fields with both parents beside her. Her innocence will make hope look easy. But Amy knows hope is sharp. It cuts when it doesn't deliver. And she fears that no matter what promises Ty makes, life will not be as clean as her daughter imagines. As night falls, lanterns glow in the barn, horses shifting in their stalls. Amy finally steps down from the porch, her boots pressing into the earth that has carried so many of her secrets. She takes a breath and steels herself. This is not just about tonight. This is about tomorrow, and the next day, and the season of their lives that is about to unfold. The future of Heartland has always been written in love and loss, stitched together by family and resilience. But this reunion threatens to unravel those stitches. Will Amy and Ty find a way to coexist for Lyndy's sake? Will the ranch become a place of healing or a battlefield of old emotions? No one knows, but one truth is clear, echoing through the night as Lyndy's laughter mixes with the creak of the barn door. One reunion can heal a child's heart, even as it tears another's apart. And from this moment forward, nothing at Heartland will ever be the same. The night settles over Heartland like a quilt stitched with both comfort and unease. Stars blink awake above the ranch, and the familiar sounds of crickets and restless horses fill the silence left by words unspoken. Inside the house, the table remains untouched, the plate still lined with food that has gone cold. Outside, laughter drifts through the air, Lyndy's laughter bright and full, carrying into every corner of the yard. It is the sound of a child discovering something she has always dreamed of but never dared to expect. And for Amy, it is the sweetest and most painful sound she has ever heard. This reunion has given Lyndy a piece of her heart back, a piece she didn't even know was missing until it stood before her in the shape of her father's arms. But for Amy, the same reunion has pulled open scars she thought had long since healed. One child's dream has come true, while another woman's reality has grown heavier. That is the paradox Amy now faces. She must stand strong enough to celebrate her daughter's joy, even as her own heart cracks under the weight of memories. The future at Heartland is no longer steady. It is uncertain, shifting with every glance, every word, every touch. Ty's return is not just a reunion. It is the start of a question that will echo through every decision Amy makes from this day forward. Can she forgive? Can she let go? Can she find peace in a future where her daughter clings to the man who once shattered her world? These questions do not have easy answers. They may never have answers at all, but one thing is certain: nothing will ever be the same again. The routines Amy built to keep her and Lyndy safe have been broken. The silence she once used as a shield has been pierced by the sound of her daughter's joy. The walls she built around her heart now stand thin against the force of a love that refuses to disappear. Whether this leads to healing or heartbreak, no one can say. But the storm has begun, and there is no stopping it now. As the lanterns flicker and the night deepens, the camera lingers on Amy's face, still, strong, yet brimming with unspoken words. She gazes at Lyndy and Ty, lit by the glow of the barn lights, a picture of innocence and reunion. Her lips part as if she might speak, but she doesn't, because tonight does not belong to her. Tonight belongs to her daughter, and so the story closes here, not with resolution, but with the sharp edge of possibility. Will Amy find the strength to forgive? Will Ty's presence become a bridge to healing or a wall that divides them further? Will Lyndy's innocent hopes survive the complexities of adult hearts? These are the questions that Season 19 of Heartland will force us to confront. One reunion, two broken hearts, a future no one expected. And now, it is your turn, Heartland fans. Do you believe Amy can ever truly forgive? Or will this reunion with Ty bring more pain than peace? Share your thoughts below, because this story belongs not only to the characters but to all of us who have walked this journey with them. The screen fades to black. The music swells, soft yet haunting, leaving us with the lingering question: when love returns after loss, does it heal or does it break us all over again? The ranch sleeps, but the night does not forget. Every wooden beam, every patch of grass, every restless horse seems to hold the weight of what has just unfolded. Heartland is no stranger to storms, yet this one is different. It is not written in the sky, it is written in the hearts of those who call this place home. The silence that follows Lyndy's laughter feels heavier than thunder, because it carries questions no one dares to answer. Amy sits at the edge of her bed, the lamp glowing softly behind her. Her hands are clasped, but not in prayer, more in an effort to stop them from shaking. The ranch has given her strength all her life, but tonight, even Heartland feels fragile. Her daughter sleeps soundly down the hall, clutching a small toy horse, a smile still etched across her face. Lyndy's dreams are painted in bright colors, of rides with her father, of stories told under the stars, of promises that feel too solid to ever be broken. For Amy, though, the dreams are harder. She closes her eyes, and memories press in. Ty's laugh, Ty's touch, Ty's voice, all pieces of a puzzle she worked so hard to put away. Now scattered again, they leave her wondering if the picture can ever be made whole, or if it was never meant to be. Outside, the night air cools the earth. Jack lingers on the porch, his hat pulled low, staring into the dark as if it can give him answers. Tim has already stormed off, muttering about complications. But even he cannot hide the truth. Ty's return changes everything. And somewhere inside, everyone knows tomorrow will not be the same as yesterday. Amy whispers to herself, not for anyone else to hear. How do I protect her from the past without taking away her future? It is a question that coils in her chest, heavy and unyielding. She knows Lyndy deserves every ounce of joy that reunion brought. But Amy also knows joy is never simple, it is tied to pain, knotted with regret, shadowed by loss. To give her daughter one, she must expose her to the other. And that is the heartache of motherhood. Carrying burdens so your child doesn't have to. Even when the burden is your own broken heart, the ranch will rise tomorrow with the sun. Chores, waiting, horses needing care, fields demanding attention. Life here has never paused for grief or love, it simply continues, unrelenting. But within that rhythm, Amy knows a shift has begun. Heartland has always been about healing, but healing often hurts before it mends. She must decide if she can face that pain again, this time with her daughter's happiness bound to it. And so the epilogue is not a conclusion, but a doorway. Ty's reunion with Lyndy has opened more than a chapter, it has cracked open the foundation of everything Amy thought she had built. The future stretches uncertain, a road lined with both hope and heartbreak. And though she doesn't know where it leads, one thing is certain, the ranch will bear witness. Heartland has seen families break, mend and rebuild, and it will see it again. The final images of the barn lantern swaying gently in the night breeze, its light small but unyielding,